heliocentric propaganda machine is at it again. This time with the drool of 20,000 subscribers. Subscribed under the name of Team Skeptic. And they've all swallowed his pill without question. I don't watch much of this character, being it's a cartoon and all, like some kind of Lego creature. I don't understand the humor in that. Are you supposed to appeal to children? Is that what it is? Well, I hope that's not the case with your foul language and your insults. Definitely not the way to conduct business in the real world, but whatever. Your subscribers like it. Probably the fourth video I've watched. It was something 3 flat earthers discuss gravity or something to that effect. And they're discussing the functionality of a gravimeter, the Autograv CG5, because that's what it says in the caption of the Wikipedia article. I don't know why you guys are all looking at Wikipedia for one thing, but my point being is that nobody researches anything. You guys have no idea what any of you are talking about. And in this case, both sides. Daniel Pratt denies gravity exists. Gravity exists, buddy. It's a variable. You know, it isn't some magical force, but it is a variable that, it's not a constant. It's not anything that's like, you know, the speed of light or anything that could be measured to that effect. It's relative. It's a relative variable. That's it. Net forces of quantum chromodynamics, the electroweak force, ionizing radiation. It's all the same crap. Air pressure. It's all related. It all creates a variable, you know, that we call gravity. You know, it's just a mathematical construct. Look at Einstein's equations itself. It predicts a higher dimension. You know, you don't speed of light to the power of 4. 4 dimensions, 4 spatial dimensions. It's all interactions of photons and electrons. There is no graviton. The God particles that they discovered has nothing to do with gravity. Standard model is perfectly fine without it. Well, let me get back to the story here. He claims that this gravimeter cools atoms down to near absolute zero and drops them down a vacuum tube. And he says, look it up. This little box, you know, this Autograv CG5 cools CD atoms down to near absolute zero, drops them down a near vacuum, and then it is intersected by some atom interferometry. Look it up. I did. And you're full of shit. You're full of shit. You have no idea what you're talking about. You got your all your information from the NASA, what is it, the research archive or paper archive, whatever it is, document archive, is where you got your paper from, because that is your go-to source. I mean, you're ex-military, so why wouldn't you use the military's education arm, NASA? Because that's all NASA is. NASA is an education agency. Ask any employee at NASA, their primary function, it is to educate. And you being military, of course, you would go to NASA. NASA controls all the gravimetric data, at least in this country, possibly worldwide, because why wouldn't they? You know, they have that push. It's all gravimetric data monitored and archived by UNIVACO, which is funded by NSF, which is NASA. I mean, there's a definite pattern of this really sloppy research. And, you know, I can't say that. I'm going to take that back because I've only seen three of your videos and the one video with you and that Toon character, whatever his name is, at the convention. So my issue is you didn't look up what the hell you're talking about, even though in the caption it says the model number. Then you go on to push some narrative, completely unrelated, some narrative from NASA, because that's all that was. Everything you said about this gravimeter cooling down atom, no, doesn't do it. Nothing. There's nothing on the market that you could buy. You said, oh, it costs well over $50,000. No, it doesn't exist. There's nothing on the market. That gravimeter that you're describing, it's a freaking quartz spring. It's nothing but a glorified scale. Spring scale. That's all it is. You're saying, hey man, atom interferometry and what was the other freaking crazy shit? Talking about it, predicting earthquakes and soil moisture changes. Are you freaking crazy? No, doesn't do any of that. Magma shifts? No. They have tilt meters to do that, Einstein. They don't use a gravimeter for that. All that crap was theoretical stuff that people wrote papers about, like, hey, maybe we can use a gravimeter to do this. It's an idea or experiment, because usually they write papers to set up the experiment and people discuss that, and then they do the experiment and they write another paper about it, you know, and that's their career. No, all that crap was all experimental. The only thing that freaking box does is it detects mineral, oil, and water that's underground. Whoop-dee-doo. It can all be explained by many variables, and they put all these variables under the umbrella of gravity, a mathematical construct. You know, once you understand and see like cymatics and see how they control the tides, it's so much more than just one thing. And you know, Bob knows this too. You know, Bob's not an idiot, even an idiot. There's some things that are a little bit out of his reach, you know, but that's only just a failure of education. It's not not a failure of common sense, because a lot of what Mr. Pratt says is common sense, and that's all he does. And I don't know. He does a good job of it, so deal with it, and you can call him an idiot or whatever. There was another thing you said about this gravimeter that you said the moon phases wouldn't affect it. It's like, are you crazy? The moon phases affect the tides. Why wouldn't it affect the gravimeter? I mean, come on. And no one sees any of this. There's so much wrong. But say it does all this stuff. This magma shifts. Distant, it predicts earthquakes, cooling down CZ atoms. And then you would need an atomic clock, wouldn't you, to precisely calculate You know, speed? No. You're freaking crazy, dude. That shit operates off of a quartz spring in a warmed oven. You know, there's no absolute zero. Oh, crazy.